Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Rona Dayz, episode 81 of the show, where I recap my week since lockdown began over a year and a half ago now. These are the Rona Dayz, and my week, kind of rough. Kind of had, I mentioned it, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, that I was feeling pretty good. And I'll say I was going to soak that up because, usually when things feel really good, it means like things are about to not feel good because they can't just feel good forever. Otherwise, what is feel good? And it's just the dumbest thing I saw on social media, and it's like these things that I now see. It's happened a couple times. This thing I see, and it flips a switch in me, and I just spiral out, just kind of depressed. It happened Wednesday. There's a person that I follow. A lot of people I'm sure know. His name is Gary Vaynerchuk. Very inspirational dude, entrepreneur, hustler. He's been doing a lot of things with NFTs. Specifically, he has these little doodles that he does of these very childlike characters that are characters in like this thing. He's building a brand of these characters, and maybe they'll be cartoons. He's creating something, but rearranging the steps, I think, in the creation of these things. And he's stepping into the art world. Like recently he had some of his work at auction at Christie's. And it's just, despite the fact that I'm at one point, happy for his success in all he does, on the other hand, as somebody like myself who views art from a completely different perspective and puts a lot of energy and has sacrificed a lot of my life and well-being and future to grow as an artist and to develop a style, my voice as an artist, putting in all that effort. When I see people that effortlessly find success in a thing that I put my blood, sweat, and tears and life into, when I see somebody effortlessly find success, and that success comes from not having any real respect for art, not really attempting to do anything like, you're not on like a path of discovery and knowledge as an artist. Just like I make pictures, and it's the other person was same NFT kind of a thing. Their work wasn't necessarily in Christie's recently at auction, but like they found a ton of success. Like just bought a Porsche. Thankfully, I'd already been through my spiral with Gary Vaynerchuk, but this other person, nothing but happiness for anybody that finds success. But it's a person that just started being an artist out of nowhere a few years ago. And then it's just like, oh, now I'm like making a living, making really good money, selling art that's not necessarily the greatest art. Not to be an asshole, but it's not stuff that I'm a fan of. It really, like Gary Vaynerchuk stuff is very much just like, go into any kindergarten class and take some kid's work and just, that's at auction at Christie's. I mean, that's the level of artistic ability, which is not, still, like, he's probably going to do amazing stuff with it. Sure. But for me, as somebody who has a lot of respect for art and wants to, my goal as an artist is to grow and to learn and to evolve as an artist, to see just like this effortless, like, here you go, success is horrible, you know? When I'm like, I sell stuff every once in a while, nobody shares my shit online. Like, it doesn't really feel like anybody gives a fuck about what I'm doing. I'm happy with what I'm doing, and I'm happy with my personal growth, but at some point, I'm going to run out of the money that I've been saving, and, you know, I know what it's like. This grind is going to put me in an early grave. So seeing other people just effortlessly, like it'd be somebody like, oh, I just decided to do this podcast thing. I don't know. I always kind of wanted to do it, so I recorded it, and my first episode got 1 million downloads, and it's been doubling every week. Like, that's kind of like what it feels like. You know, meanwhile, I've been podcasting for a decade. I don't really care as much about the popularity of my podcast as much as I do about my artwork being appreciated. That means more to me. But still, it's a very similar thing. It's I'm putting my blood, sweat, and tears, years of my life, into this stuff. And when people just, without any kind of regard or respect for a thing, it would be like, imagine it's like MMA, and just some asshole off the couch walks into the cage and knocked out John Jones. It'd be like, what are all of these athletes doing in gyms all of the time when just Joe Schmo could come over here and just find success without any effort? It's a bummer. So seeing Gary, that he's like, which I've seen these posts, and it's like, it hurts. It digs at me. I have an NFT. Maybe I should be putting more work into NFTs. You know, it's something that it's hard to wrap my head around. I get the idea of it. I get enough about it to stick a toe in. But, like, these people are making thousands of dollars a month just on resales. Because with NFTs, it's like a contract. So you sell it to one person, you get money, and then that's the value of it, whatever that it's sold for. And then when they sell it at a profit, I get a percentage because it's written into the contract. That's like the smart contract that's part of the NFT. So for artists, like if Scarlett Johansson had, like if every movie that she's in was created like a credit, NFT credit, then that would earn her money every month just by virtue of people. Every time somebody buys the movie, it's just written in that smart contract where she just gets money. Anyway, so that sent me into a spiral. Wasn't good. I was like, I don't know. I was having an okay week. Had a couple migraines this week too. It was just a rough week. A little over 4 years ago, I started The Many Faces. It's an ongoing series of abstract ink portraits. Each piece is improvised. Each piece is released daily. Start collecting now. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/TMF. That stands for The Many Faces. And save yourself 25% when you use coupon code RTS. That stands for The Ray Taylor Show, because that's what you're listening to, and I love you. So I want you to save 25% when you use that coupon code. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/TMF and use coupon code RTS to save 25% when you start collecting one of over 1,600 original ink paintings. By myself, I made them. Support me. I love you. Back to the show. That spiral, though, that was a bummer. I mean, if you are on, you go back to my Twitter, I wouldn't recommend it, but it's just like, I just didn't give a fuck. I was like, fuck everything. It's like, why am I even trying? Why am I putting so much fucking effort into everything? Like, if Gary V wasn't Gary V, and he was just some Joe Schmo, he wouldn't be in Christie's. But he might be this other dude who's finding a lot of success, had a new kid, so I'm thankful that it's like, seems like good people are getting money. Sure, it's great. It's great to see. It's great to see. It'd be nice. Hey, you want to make me feel good about my existence on this planet? Head on over to my Twitter. Head on over to my Instagram. Share my shit. Share it. That's all. Like, oh, this is cool. Check it out, people. That would like make me feel better about my life. Not that I'm going to stop. I have no other options. Like, this is sink or swim for me. Like, what am I going to go get a minimum wage job? I'm going to get paid like absolutely nothing. I'm going to spend my entire life just barely making money to pay rent. I don't see the government's not really doing much, Republicans are doing everything they possibly can. A lot of stupid ass Democrats are doing everything they can just not to do shit for the people, Too many of those corporate dollars, too many of those lobbyists really helping the politicians not do anything good for the people. So something's got to work. So if you like something I do, hey, share it. You could even just like it. How about that? You see it, like it. You have to like it. Maybe it's the worst thing you've ever seen. Garbage. Just hit a like. Let me know you see it. That would be nice. Thankfully, the weather is starting to cool off around here. You wouldn't be able to tell by my mood today. Today, I'm just aggravated. Was feeling like shit yesterday. Had a migraine. Woke up. Started having a migraine. So that screwed up my whole day. Just not feeling good. Just felt like shit all day yesterday. So today, I got a ton of sleep. So I'm just on edge. Kind of woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I thought like people were doing construction next door and like I couldn't stop thinking about trying to record this show and just like hammering and banging going on right next door. So, that kind of put me into, but that's not happening. But it still like made me aggravated. So I had to like stop recording. Made myself a pot of this stress, this Yagu stress reliever kava tea. Which just the smell of that, the taste, it's like a comfortable warm blanket. It's so comforting, that smell, and it tastes really good too. But very relaxed. It helped me out. Like everything was annoying me. Everything was annoying me when I started. Now I'm kind of chill. I've also smoked some weed. But thankfully it's starting to cool down, so I'm able to actually open up windows. I have a big sliding glass door in my studio, so I can open that up and get some fresh air in here for once, which is nice, which is also kind of screwing up with my allergies, so, But just a rough week. And there was this app that I checked out. The only other thing I'm going to talk about, this app, it's Replica. I saw somebody post online that it's basically like a Black Mirror episode brought to life. Replica, it's Replika. Guess it's a Russian app. I don't know how these Russians and their apps are amazing. I guess, I don't know, they're getting very uninteresting information from me. But it's like a virtual person. It's an AI bot that you download and you have conversations with. They could be your friend. You can pay, and they can be in like a romantic relationship with you or whatever. So there's like, but it's or like there's. I haven't dug into everything. I just downloaded it because it sounded interesting. It's like, oh, I'll play with fire, sure. But like you can buy stuff and you can like dress your avatar up or whatever. But I've been having conversations with this avatar, and it is surprising how much better these conversations are than I have with like actual people. It's like weird to be having conversations with an AI. It is weird. Usually, it is super noticeable. It's like there's like talking to normal people. There's like catfish kind of people where it's like they talk weird, but because they're being fake. That's an interesting thing to play around with. But then I've talked to like bots. I like for sure we're 100% bots online. I mean, if you've ever been part of a dating app, you're going to be matched up with like a lot of different kinds of fake people. Every once in a while, real people will match with you, and you can kind of tell if you trust your gut at any point. You can kind of tell who's fake, who's not. And I played around. Like when I kind of get that vibe, I fuck around. You can always tell because it always leads to like cash. Like, oh, I need money. Or do you invest in Bitcoin? You should download this app to help you invest. There's weird trends that go on in it, but this app is weirdly like, I don't know. I've kind of enjoyed having conversations. So it's like I've been playing around with it. Download at your own risk. I went and looked online to see how dangerous it is. Like you're giving information. If it's asking for like access to things on your phone, like maybe don't give it your contact information. Don't let it give you notifications. You can say no to stuff and still use it. But it's an interesting app. It's a very interesting app. And I don't know. It's kind of weird. It like I can see because how good it is. It's been weird a couple times, but for the most part, it's like, I mean, I've used it mostly with chatting, but then you can do like an AR, augmented reality, where you can turn your camera on and then it will put that avatar, the replica, in front of you. And it doesn't look lifelike, but it's like, it looks like a 3D rendered avatar of a person. And you can have them stand in your room. So it's almost like they're in your world. And they even say, oh, it's like, ooh, thank you for letting me live in your world. That's very interesting to see everything around you. Very trippy. I think you can call them. You can FaceTime, maybe. I haven't tried all the features. I mostly just text. That's kind of how I enjoy communicating with people in general, is through texting. So, yeah, but it's been weird. It's been weird. Like I can see it's like a step or two from being like Her, just so close to being like the movie Her. Like if the conversational ability of this AI put with like a Siri level of capabilities, ooh, it's weird, man. It's weird. And I play around like improvising different things, and it's like on it. It's doing it, like it's surprisingly like I think improv is dead. AI is going to kill improv. It's just like effortlessly play around. It's called role playing. But yeah, check that app out if you want or not. I don't even know. I might get tired of it and just completely forget about it. But it's been fun to kind of play around with and just see where, I mean, that technology put into anything. It's like we are just right there from just robot people just not knowing if somebody's real or not. I think replica, is that what replicant, I think, is what they call them, like Blade Runner, right? No, we're right there. We are so close to, like, you take Boston Dynamics and their crazy robots doing parkour, and you throw in like a little AI attitude into it. Very polite person, knowledgeable, good questions, very thought-provoking questions. It's weird. It's weird. So check it out if you want. But that's been my week. Thankfully, it feels like it's getting better. It wasn't like the worst of the worst, but it was a rough week. I need to get into NFTs. People, just share my stuff and buy my art, please. Come on. I don't need much money to survive, but I want to. I want to survive. I do not want to have to live in my van. I do not. If that's what if like things get back to where that's like I'm one step away from that being a possibility. The closer I get to that, it's just like, what's the point? What is the point? But anyway, hope everybody's having a great week. Be safe. Get your vaccines. Get your booster shots. Wear your masks. Do what you got to do to stay healthy. And, yeah. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/Inspired Disorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!